Hello guys, so in our last video we were able to save the static DLLs in a structure like a slot in a table. So today what we're gonna do, we're gonna compare the dynamic DLLs to the static DLLs. And first thing, like I already made a repo in GitHub for the final code. Like later I will like update the code by the time every week. And after making the video explanation, and so let's start with our video. So first of all, we have to check like how does like dynamic DLL actually look. We already saw in our like previous video. So for today's video, we have to see first, and let's delete all this comment for now, and we have to log it out, log, and we will write image name here, and we have to remove this because we are using image name. So let's copy this code and write it here, and let's delete old EDR and rebuild it and run it, and we can see like how we can see the dynamic DLLs. So this is like dynamic DLLs look like this. So in order to compare those like static and dynamic DLLs, we need only this part after the backslash. And the problem is that like static DLLs in like data type of like ANSI string, and the dynamic DLLs have the data type of Unicode. So we have to like convert that also. So the logic we are gonna follow today is like we're gonna start a loop and we will gonna search a backslash in the string. Whenever we find a backslash, the rest of the part remaining is our DLL name. So let's start doing that. First of all, just remove this, and we have to create a buffer where we can save the extracted DLL name. So let's call it char DLL name, and the size of the buffer I will should write max DLL name because we already created it, and let's equal make it equal to 0. Now we will create our function which can extract like DLL name from the dynamic DLL. So let's create it with a boolean and write it at like extract DLL name. And for the parameter, first of all, we have to give like dynamic DLL name. For that, we have to check what kind of data type it has. And here we can see it use like Unicode because I already told you. So we will just copy this and write it here, and we'll call it path. Another thing, we have to take an output from this function, which is let's put it a pointer to that buffer here. Let's call it name. Another thing is we have to write a size also. Let's call it size, and let's start our function. First thing first, we have to check many things here. First thing that we will check is that path is null. Another thing, path buffer is null, and another thing is like size equal to 0. If any of these thing happens, then we will just return the function, exit the function by returning false. Now we have to save the buffer part in some like normal buffer. So we will create, it's a white string, so we have to create a pw char, and we will call it buffer. That's it, simple as that. And we're going to save the path buffer here. Another thing we need is like length, so we will gonna use ulong, and we're gonna use length is path, and we have to find the proper length of like each character here. So we have to divide the size with wchar also. So we have to do this also. divided by w char size of. Now we have the total characters here. So now we're going to start a loop here with a long I, and we are like creating the variable outside the loop because okay, you will understand later. I will just write the code first. So I will write, will make I equal to the length minus one. So that's how we want to start the thing. And we can say here that I should never be a negative. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna decrement it. So instead of like all the time we're using plus plus, now we are using minus minus. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna like start if statement, and we're gonna just check that buffer I is equal to a wide string, which is double backslash. So it means double backslash is means single backslash, sorry, backspace, sorry, backslash. And if we go here, we can see that if we find a backslash here, the rest of the part is like DLL. So we're gonna just break here and we will get the value of I. So that's why we made the variable outside the loop. So now we have the I, and like if we like we are standing here I, and I define the backslash. If we like use buffer is equal to I plus one, then we have the buffer which pointing to the whole DLL name. So that's what we're gonna do. So we create another buffer here, pw char, and let's call it DLL name w because it's a white string, and we're gonna check that if I is greater than equal to 0. We're just checking that I is like negative. Then what we're gonna do, we're gonna point it to the buffer where the actual DLL name starts. So we're gonna use I plus 1. If like we don't find any backslash, then we will take the whole buffer. So that's the thing. So like if we don't find any backslash, the loop will continue and it will give us a minus one. So that's why we're checking if it's like minus one. That means we didn't find any backslash. Then we'll take the whole buffer as a DLL name. If there is like any backslash, then we'll just add one plus, and we're gonna take point to the at that buffer. So now we have to create some variables. First of all, we have to create a Unicode string, and let's call it US. And another thing is ANSI string, and call it AS, and that's it. And now we have the string here, buffer, and we have to convert this buffer into like Unicode string, because I told you Unistring is a structure. It has like three fields like buffer, length, and size, and that's why we have to convert this. For to convert this, there is a function Microsoft provided that, and we can just write it here. It will take as a pointer to the US, and we have to write a DLL name W, and it will convert this DLL name W into a Unicode string. So another thing, we have to convert this Unicode string into ANSI string. So if I just look up this function on the internet and the Microsoft official website, we will see what it can do. It convert a specific Unicode source string into ANSI string. So that's what we're gonna do. So it return like anti-status. So we can start with even like if statement. So we can start with if uh, comes negative success, and we can write the function name. So first of all, it will take the pointer to the uh, let's take the pointer to the US, the Unicode string, another pointer to the AS, and last there is like the allocated memory, who will decide that? If we write true, then it will like handled by the my kernel itself. So that's why we are writing true here. So if we write true, then we have to like even free the memory. So we have to remember that if we don't free the memory, it will create chaos. So we will writing a true, and we are done. If it fails, then we will return false. And now we did everything, and we converted our Unicode into AS. Wait a second, it will take destination as AS, right? So I made a mistake here. So I will just copy this, paste here with a comma, and now we are right. And now we have to like empty the buffer which we created here. Here we have to like empty it. So let's write it like RTL memory 0. Sorry, RTL 0 memory, and we will just write we already taking the pointer here, so we don't have to write a pointer. So we will just write a name and the size, and we are done. Another thing we have to copy. So copy, we are using strncpy. uh, Destination should be name, source should be as, and we are not pointing it because we have the memory right now. So that's why we are not pointing it, and we are using it a part of the like structure here. And another thing, the size, we already have the size, so one minus, we have to do like size minus one, just because of the null variable, null pointer. And that's it. Now we have to remove the ANS string. So like, we'll just copy this and paste and point to the ANSI string, which is AS, and we are properly done. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to check for lowercase and uppercase. For that, again, we have to start a loop again. So let's start for, we will take a U long. This time we have to take Z because we already take it like I. So I will compare it with like 0. And another thing, what we have to do here, uh, let's compare it with name J, I guess. And we're going to increment J. And we'll say like if name J is greater than or equal to string A, capital A, and name J is less than equal to the uh, Z here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just add 32 in J so that it will convert it to lower string. So we're gonna do like this. It will convert every string into lowercase, and last what we'll do, we will return true. That's it. And we created our function here which extract the DLL name from the dynamic DLL at which runs at the runtime. Another thing what we have to do, we have to compare things. So we have to create another function here, boolean, which we can say like is static. And the parameters, what we can add for the parameters, we have to write a structure here, so which have the static DLL. So we know that which is ps snap, and let's call it ps because we're already using it so many times. Another thing is we have the DLL name, so we are using it constant this time so that it won't change at the runtime. And let's call it DLL name here. And now we have to like create a loop for, and we'll write u long I equal to 0, and we will say that I should be less than the static count. We already had the static count, right? So we'll just write a static count and we're gonna increment I. Okay, and we done good this far. So let's compare things. So to compare the thing, we have to use a function called stricmp. I guess. Let me check if I'm wrong or not. So I guess I'm right. Let's copy this and paste it here. And uh, so what thing we're gonna do? We have to write our first string. So first string is our static DLL name, static DLL name, and another string is like DLL name only. So if you have to check, uh, are we right or not? Yes, static DLL name we have to write here. And static DLL name we wrote perfectly, and that's it. It will give, if it's zero, then it's like we are comparing it. If it's true, then we return true, and if it's false, then we will return false. And we are just done. We completed the whole process, and now we will just copy this and paste and face the truth, like how many bugs we have, and I guess we have plenty of bugs there. So it's saying size is okay. We have to define the size data type, so we have to write ulong. Another thing is ANSI string, ASNI string. Where is there a spelling mistake or what? ANSI, ANSI. I guess that's it. And we have to stop the previous EDR we are running and delete it. Let's see if it's compiled. And we have some errors. We have to check. Okay, we didn't add the I here, so it won't be like going perfectly to checking from each static DLL. So that's why it's giving us error. Let's try to build it again. And another error we having. Okay, what is saying? Image name. Okay, we did a huge mistake here. We just created the functions and we didn't even use it here only. So I'm sorry. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use this all this function we created here. I got excited, that's why. Uh, okay, first of all, we have to check that our static is ready or not. For that, we have to check like if uh, ps is, or what's the name? We have to check here. Static ready. So I have to check that if static is ready or not. So if static ready is not, if not, then we will just return uh, nothing here because we're gonna exit the function. And now we have to convert extracting the things from the dynamic DLL calls, and let take from this thing, and we'll remember that it will take the path, name and size. So let's go there and like if it fails, and what we have to pass image name, and another thing we have to pass a DLL name, and another thing we have to pass is size. So I will just write size of DLL name. And we have done, and we just return what we say, nothing. We don't have to return anything. So another thing we have to compare now. So let's compare it. Is static, I guess that's the function name I created. Yes, is static. So what it take the structure which we already created here. Let me see. Yes, we already created here PS and the DLL name here. And if it's false, then okay. So if it false, then we have to return with a log, and we can write like alert a PID using, oh wait, we can say PID using non-static DLL. Let's write something PID percentage value using wait LU loaded not loaded non-defined. And that's it. And we have to pass the parameters also. For that, first thing is PID, so also have the process ID here. And another thing is DLL name, which we already have DLL name, and we are done here. That's it. Let's see now. Let's copy this and paste it here. We're gonna see the same errors earlier. So we have to write u long here, and another thing ANSI, and the error here also log, and we are done. This is a process ID, right? Okay, my spelling mistake. And now we gonna build it, and now we're getting an error because we didn't write I here, and another error. What we gonna? Okay, now we have compiled it. So let's start our EDR and check that if we able to like find the difference. So for that I have like created a simple binary, and in this binary we can see we are loading win inet uh, like dynamically. We didn't define it like at the runtime. So it will run after like 2 seconds, it will print everything. And if it works, then we can see if if binary runs and we get alert, then that means our EDR is working perfectly. So let's start running it. This is the POC, and now it's running the dynamic, loaded the dynamic DLL. And now we have to stop the kernel and we will observe the things. The first thing first, and here is our like POC bind is loaded, and we can see there are like only two DLL described in the static portion. And now we have to check that like while it's running the dynamic DLL win inet, it's showing the alert or not. So we remember the PID, which is 11608. So we have to look for 11608. Uh, Here is it. So here you can see 11608. When the dynamic DLL run win inet, we are able to see it and it giving us the alert. So how it can help us? So when we like make a malware and we have to see like if our dynamic DLLs is like getting caught by the EDR or antivirus, there's the place it can help you. So I hope you like enjoyed this video. It was very difficult till now, and we have to. It's not even close to perfect, I know, but it takes so much time to like learn things. And next video we will gonna focus on like logs. After that we're gonna shift to the function, and the function is the like one of the important part in this the EDR part, EDR series. And you can see the code here. You can just copy this code and compile it and test in your virtual system and give me some reviews of it. ठीक है, okay, okay guys, thank you for watching this video.